Good evening. Chapter 3, Influence of Physical Design. Let's take a look at what we're going to be looking at. This is kind of like your neighborhood. We're going to look at the lessons, concept, physical design, relationship, informal social crime. How is your neighborhood set up? How do we make it safer? That's what this chapter is about. How do we make everything safer, where people want to go, and versus where they have to go? And, we're talking about urban communities, natural surveillance. We're going to look at, these are some of the different areas. Learning objectives, apply physical design, explore defensible spaces, and discuss crime prevention. Here's our key concepts. Security, as we talked about, physical design, urban residential, some of the different things that we want to take a look at. So physical design and informal social control. As it says, many urban settings seem designed to discourage informal social control. Think about where you live. Is it set up with a square where all the houses meet for shelter? If you think about how everything used to be set up eons ago. But now this allows some different thing, more social interaction and better crime prevention strategies, right? Is that how your neighborhood is set up? Or is everyone set up on their own little island? Now with social media, do you even go out and meet your neighbors, understand what they're doing, what they're going through? Some of these areas that we want to look at. Proper physical design encourages residents to extend social from their homes, meet their people. Is there a common place you can meet? Think of most college campuses have a square, an octagon, some place in the middle where everyone can get together. That's what we're talking about. Most neighborhoods are now spread out. They don't have it. Urban areas, sky rises, high rises. There's no real common area for people to hang out. And that's what we want to think about. I think, and one of the big things here, social media has a big effect on this. Closely knit communities tend to protect members. Do you know your neighbors? Have you ever met them besides waving to them? So these are some of the different things we have to look at. But we want to design it, opportunities for crime to be reduced, develop informal social control. And what that means is your neighbors look out for you. When I moved up here in PA where we lived, I was doing work coming up on the weekends, and one weekend I came up, my neighbor came over and said, "Hey, you left your back light on." He looked out for our house. So these are some of the things that we're not seeing as much anymore. But we can still design it. Territorial, man's home is his castle. Largely not so much anymore high-rise apartments. Today there are probably more condos being built than single home families. So we're trying to think of how we get that community. And it's because a lot of people are getting older. They don't want a house. They want to maintain the ground. So they're looking at other opportunities. And that's what we're looking at. Lack of responsibility. Outside world is no man's land. Lack of social sense. And criminals can act almost at will. And if you look at crime in some of the major cities, we see this happening more and more. Our neighbors aren't looking out for each other. Everyone's kind of a man for themselves. You can look at this in New York, San Francisco, the big cities. There's a lot of crime that's happening because it's become, isolated. You don't have that community, that sense of community that we watch out for each other. And this is some of the things that when we don't have that responsibility, that crime can go unchecked. The criminals don't feel like they have to worry about anything. And that's what we're seeing happening. Natural surveillance. Increase people outside, right? Have open areas where people are. The more people that are present in any given area, the less likely crime is going to happen. Extend it, identifies with victims, how much observer feels they can help. But this, just being out and in a community helps with this. A criminal's not going to attack someone if there's people around. I mean, it's simple. I know I talked about this in the last episode. It's a crime of opportunity. If someone's walking down the street, no one's around, no one's out on the street, the criminal can see something, take advantage of it. Or if there's people on the street, around, chances are them doing something are much less because the chance of getting caught are higher. And so this is what this is all about. Site design, cluster residence units around private hallways, courtyards. That's what I talked about, having that courtyard set up. Semi-private connecting common spaces. Maybe a game room in your townhome or your apartments. Bigger hallways. Hallways with windows so people can see what's going on. Right now in apartments you're isolated. So these are some of the different things that would make sense to put in place. How about street designs? How do we make the street safer? Making spaces into semi-public extensions, clusters where, again, people gather, people park. They're not isolated. Increase general visibility, lighting, no physical barriers, have things open, people can't hide. Better lighting is always a good thing to have. Security devices, obviously something important. Today with Ring camera doorbells, it really captures a lot of different things. Divide common areas into private yards. Improve semi-private parkways, reduce the number of public access points, establish audio and video surveillance. These are all simple things, but they take planning. I know we talked about that in the last chapter. When we plan, things work out better. When we have to now change things, think about it, you build a common place, 4 or 5 homes have a common backyard, but they also have a private backyard. Right part of it, maybe you put a fence up or some bushes, part of it, but the backyard's all touched so you can see what's going on in people's houses for crime reasons and stuff. So these are some of the different things. You set them up, so maybe 8, 10 houses all share a backyard or a front yard, whatever the case may be. But when you have all individual houses and you put a lot of up barriers, you have all these issues that we have to look out for. Opposite of hardening security systems, living environment opening up and used by residents, stimulates self-policing, right? If everyone had a common backyard or common area, a courtyard if you want, makes it easier to protect and have your neighbors stand out. I mean, there's always going to be issues for crime, but let's face it, if someone has to walk through a common courtyard to get somewhere, it will reduce some of that. And this is what this chapter is about. To assist neighborhood crime preventing, crime prevention through environmental design. By the way, that's what the CP-TED indicates. Applies strategies, physical design, citizen partnership, and law enforcement. All 3 of these are important. You can't have one without the other. And this is what we want to look at. Let's take a look at, I don't have physical design. Physical design is what that courtyard situation I was talking about. Citizen participation, people get involved. Back years ago we had neighborhood watches where I would look. But it's also up to law enforcement to protect. And as we look in the cities, in the urban areas, we see a more presence of police officers in high crime areas. Why? To help reduce it. Citizens need to get more involved instead of just saying it's not my job. So these are the areas that we as a society have to do a better job of. Sense of caution towards approach, non-conclusively demonstrated, disagreement among crime prevention, magnitude of typical projects, and cost represented financial investment. Yes, all this costs money. And who's going to pay for it? I mean, that is a big problem that we have. We can say, well, I'm not going to pay for it. I don't want my taxes to go up. I'm not going to pay for extra police officers. I'll protect my own house. And this is a lot of what's happening now. What's the best way to fight crime in neighborhoods, in urban areas? Is it just more people out on the streets, more surveillance cameras? These are some of the different things. Some recent projects: Manchester Combined Community Policing Concepts with the CP-TED led to crime reduction, right? Reduced drugs, robbery, burglars, police calls, everything dropped when combining all those things we talked about. When we combine all of this, physical, citizen, and participation in law enforcement, this is the result. So there are studies that show that when we do it right, it works. And when we don't get it right, this is what happens. So, this is what it is. So how do we look at land use, building ground security, building perimeter security? We talked about that last week. Interior security, we talked about that. Construction standards. Putting everything in place to make sense, right? These are what we need to look at as we look at building. Land use. What land's available? How are we going to use it? What makes it so when we start building, do we have that common area? Or are we trying to fill up every square inch to maximize profit and put people in danger? Ground security. I know in building perimeters and interior, we talked all about this last week. We can have sensors and monitors and all kinds of things that we can put in place to help protect us. Again, at what point do we say enough is enough? We don't want all of this. We're going to put some things in place. Construction standards, everything is built to the same standard that help protect what's going on. And this could be a lot about lighting and security that we want to look at. Some basic things everyone can do: design features. What locks do you have? Are you buying super cheap locks? You have fences up, lights. In today's marketplace or wherever, having lights and locks is a simple thing. Like I said, a lot of time crime is someone walking by your car, lifting the handle, seeing if it's open. Lock the door. Same with your home. Lights. Have motion sensor lights. I mean, I know I live in the wilderness, and I just put up some motion sensor lights. Almost the only thing that sets them off are the deer, so I guess the deer can see better at night. But they're solar powered. There's nothing, no wiring, nothing. Just put them up somewhere on a tree. Someone walks by, they go off. Simple to do. Intervening on crime. You see something, say something. Call the police. Speak up. That's all this is about. Prevention of violent crimes, safe streets for people, surveillance, transportation. That's another one. Where's the train or bus stopping? Is it in a really bad neighborhood? Is there lighting there? Are there police officers close by? So these are some that we can actually plan to say, hey, we're going to put more buses up so people aren't waiting as long. Get the cash off the streets. Encourage people to carry minimal cash so they don't have things to be stolen. Hide jewelry. Don't flash money or anything around. If you're going into the city, take off your stuff so you don't attract criminals. Citizen intervention, I talked about that. What can you do to get involved? Mobilize them. Have 911 stations. I know on college campuses, when my kids went where I teach, they have call boxes all over the place. You just have to go hit a button. They know exactly where you are. Someone can be there in minutes. Maybe we need more of that on the streets, but these are some of the different things that we can do to help organize what we want. Police functions, police control, and citizen support, right? I talked about that. If there's a high crime area or stuff going on, have more police. Yes, guess what? It costs more money. And As a society, we need to decide, do we want to have a safer area or pay less? Because you can't really have both. And that's the problem. We need to have this balance of what's going on. Mobilize neighborhoods, investor confidence, neighborhood identity. These are just some of the basic things that we can do to make sure that the neighborhood is safer. And the more that we get involved, the better off that the neighbors are going to be happier. Sorry. Reduce opportunity, right? A lot of crime. Some crime you're not going to prevent. The smash and grabs you see in New York and San Francisco are happening all the time. Chicago. That's organized crime if you want, but the opportunistic crime we can cut down. Being more self-aware. Cooperation between law enforcement and residents. Work with the police officers. I said, if you see something, say something. Increase the neighborhood identity. Hey, we all stand together. Public information programs, improve transportation, as I just talked about. Make sure that all the locations where buses stop or more frequently are well lit. There's no dark lights or alleys or anything nearby. It's not just lighting the waiting booth, but you light the entire area around it so that people have to get into the light before they even get to you. If you just light the bus stop, well, people can theoretically sneak up. So these are some of the different things that we want to look at. Some steps: outdoor lighting, landscaping. Don't have huge shrubbery or barriers. You should have the more open you can see, right? I go back to the castles of the mid-century. They weren't built in forests. They were built on wide open spaces. They can see their enemies coming for miles. Same type of thing. If you start putting up barriers and fences that can't be seen, well, that becomes a place for people to hide. So we want to look at that. Block watch, clean, safe homes, area cleanups, taking care of any trash. Take pride in your neighborhood. Discourage carrying cash. I don't think that's a big thing anymore. How many people, do you guys, anyone carry cash? I carry very, very little cash nowadays with the smartphone, Venmo. We don't need cash. Public transportation. Let it come out more frequently. Don't just once an hour, once ever. If there's bus stops that we need to have more frequently to prevent people from standing there and waiting. If there's no one there, there's no crime. So we want to look and examine that. And then all that comes to improve street lighting, right? Future, clear border definitions of controlled space, clearly marked transitional zones, relocation of gathering in areas, redesignated space, and improved scheduling, right? So all these things the first couple are all about planning. How can I better plan what's going to happen so I can see what's going on? If I can clearly mark stuff, it just makes more sense. Improve scheduling. Don't put people in danger. Make sure there's someone there to help. All right. That was it for chapter 3.